Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine on the Navy Sports Network, and of course the Mids with 33 varsity sports, trying to get them all back in action. A lot of them will be in action here in the second semester, and for the rifle team, finally an opportunity to compete, and not virtually, comes up this weekend. Please be joined now by junior Mark Amdahl. And Mark, I know it's been a long time for you and your teammates to finally have an opportunity to compete. What has been the key for you all right now? Just staying afloat, staying sharp. And, oh, by the way, you get to compete against one of the best in the country with West Virginia this coming weekend.
I definitely think motivation is the biggest one. Kind of this season, I think for every sport, that since not everything is normal, motivation's like super hard to lose. So you just kind of gotta keep in mind the goal of your team, because like the goals are still there even though COVID's here. But like we just look forward to it, and shooting against West Virginia and Ole Miss this weekend, because Ole Miss is just starting to shoot really well too. Like we're not that much different than they are. We're going to be competing just as hard as they are, so we're super excited for it. And
so. How have training techniques changed, if at all, for you all because of the protocols that we've been under here? And obviously even at the academy, even more stringent than other places right now. Have training techniques maybe changed a little bit for you guys?
Thankfully, like with our sport, we're not really close contact with people. We totally rely on ourselves and our gear, and our coaches are still able to coach us probably about the same way, keeping their distance. They can just pull us off the line and come talk to us instead of being on the line with us, which works out really well. So, like, luckily for our sport, it hasn't changed that much.
You obviously exploded on the scene with a pretty good start at the academy last year. Got yourself an air rifle score that was nearly as good as anybody at the academy has ever had. Now, as you progress into a third campaign, how do you obviously set your goals, and what will it take for you to achieve, maybe even this year, improving that number, which would put you obviously in some pretty select company here at the Naval Academy?
There's like one thing that I always try to remind myself, that when I shoot against these other schools who are like taught like the best in the country, with some shooters who are the best in the world, I had to realize that I'm not much different than they are. Like, they're not bigger, better, or stronger. Everything they do is the exact same I do. So like, it's not really intimidating seeing them. That's just kind of something I keep in my mind that helps me shoot good scores. So
in a situation like this, and in an individual sport like this is, it's just like golfers. You could shoot your best round and somebody else could be better that day. How do you come to the grips with, feeling like you really did well in that particular day, yet sometimes the overall result doesn't tell you really how well that you did? If you see, lines of other people up there, how do you convince yourself that, hey, I really did a pretty decent job today? Unfortunately, there were just some competitors out there that were better, because the competitor in all of us certainly wants to win every time.
Even though like these schools and like these kids are like not much different than me, I think some people are just on a different level than I am, or some kid like as other competitors are. So you just kind of have to remind yourself that I'm not competing against. Sometimes I'm not competing against them. I'm competing with myself, and that's how you get better. And if you like mental toughness and positive talk is what makes you better. So if I don't have a good score, there's still things I look forward to, and like the positives I look at.
No doubt about that. I mean, obviously you shot in high school before you got to this level. What gave you the ambition to get involved in rifle as a sport, and obviously some terrific accolades before you arrived here at the Naval Academy?
I just always had an interest in shooting guns. I was in a JRTC program in high school, and they had a rifle team, and I was really good at it, so I just kept doing it. And thankfully, I had a program that's well funded, so we had a lot of trips, a lot of good equipment, and it just kind of drew me to the sport, and it helped me get to a service academy, which is my dream. So
I was going to say, is that part of it as well? I mean, you mentioned just having the equipment necessary to do it, because Coach, what I love about Coach is he will bring some of that apparatus to some of the banquets, and we actually get to see some of the equipment that you all work with. It's not cheap. We're not going down to the local Walmart gun store or the local hunting place and picking any of this stuff up, but just being able to participate in a program like that and have the necessary equipment. Because as you mentioned, if you have good equipment, you can put up the kind of scores that does attract you to an academy, as you said. I mean, when you look back on this, how important and how big was that for you in trying to accomplish your goal of getting to a service academy?
It was huge. I think like being in high school and having good equipment was a blessing. And then like when I got approached by service academies to come cheer for them, that was like everything I wanted.
You know, obviously you have Air Force in your family background. How did you arrive at the Naval Academy to make that choice? Because, you know, let's face it. I mean, you know, a very select few get chosen for any of the service academies. What was the difference in your choice in making Navy your destination?
Navy just took me, and Air Force, it just didn't work out. But the good thing is Coach Ante was the person that like approached me while at a match, and he was the Air Force coach, assistant coach.
Right.
And thankfully, like I have him as a coach. So I'm so thankful.
As you progressed, you know, as you progressed here, you know, through into your third season, what's been the key for you to be able to continue to make the kind of progress where, as you all know, I mean, you know, you strive for perfection every time out there, but what's allowed you to progress here into your third season and continue that ascent up a lot of the Navy charts?
I think a big thing is being a part of the team. I think the scores I put up, like I definitely want to help the team out just to reach our goals, because it's not just individually I want to shoot really high scores, but as a team we want to put ourselves in a great position.
You know, one of the things that I've learned interviewing rifle, you know, shooters through the years, the breathing techniques and the stuff that you all do, you know, people, you know, maybe have this perception that you all just, you know, grab your gun, head to the range, stand up there, bang, there it goes. But there's so much more to this. How difficult was that portion of it to, you know, as you all talk about all the time as shooters, you're trying to get that, you know, heart rate down as low as you possibly can go, to be as still as you possibly can be and focus on that target. How difficult is mastering that to where every time you step to the line, you know, you're putting yourself in a position to be successful?
So there are 3 words that my coach says: relax, squeeze, and follow through. And it literally is that simple, but shooters make it harder than it really needs to be. And so when you go out to the range, you just want to try doing the same thing every day, which sounds redundant and painful, but it can be sometimes. But your goal is to shoot the same spot every single day and do the same thing every day, which like makes you the best. And like the practice can be long and hard, but when you get to the record day and you shoot a good score, it's like all worth it.
Is it really as simple as trying to find the same rhythm and approach every single time from the practice session, so that way when you do step to the line in a competition, it almost becomes second nature for you?
Yeah, I think it is more simple than our brains make it out to be. And so we have to like realize that the target's not moving, it's not shooting back or anything. So
Well, as I've said all along, I'm going to grab a bunch of you guys at some point after you graduate, and we're all going to go to a turkey shoot, and we're going to go feed a bunch of hungry people out there and win some turkey.
I'd love to.
You know,
yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think it's amazing the discipline that you all have in your sport, and I can't be happier for you guys to finally have a chance to compete coming up this weekend as you all take on West Virginia and Ole Miss. Best of luck to you and your teammates this weekend, and thanks for the time today.
Thank you.